What's up, everyone? Ray Lopez here again to do build of the week number 5. Yes, the 5th build of the week. This one for this week is again another vertical build. You can see there. This one is called a dual infinite build. Dual infinite. Or infinity, whatever you want to call it. Can't really see it that well right now because I have the cotton in. But I've been using this build now for about a week. Really, really good build. Hold on 1 second. This one uses 24 gauge Canthal. And it looks like a quad build, but it's actually 2 coils split. And when you look at it from the top, it has a little infinity sign. You can see here, fires really, really nice. This was it. This one came out at 0.28. I'll show you how it vapes. So you can see lots and lots of vapor. So there you go. This is the dual infinite build, or dual vertical infinite, dual vertical infinity build, whatever the hell you want to call it. So let's go ahead and go into up close mode and show you how to make this bad boy. All right, welcome to up close mode. Here is all the tools we will be using today. We have the Patriot with the extra big holes and post and all that good stuff. Wire cutters, needle nose scissors, Phillips head screwdriver, some 24 gauge Canthal, some 3/32 bits here to wrap our coils, and some tweezers. So that's it. Not too much. Your basic tools are all you need for this. So let's go ahead and strip off some of this 24 gauge wire. Give ourselves a decent amount here. Probably about a good 8 inches. You don't need that much, but I like having a little bit more to work with. Let's go ahead and get this thing started here. So I do 3 wraps, 3 wraps. So it's a total of 6 wraps. So let's go ahead and do that right now. 1, 2, 3. Okay, there's your 3 wraps. Let me get this zoomed in a little bit better here. There we go. So we have 3 wraps. Now we want a little gap, just like that, and then do another 3 wraps. So there we go, 3 wraps. Technically we have 6. So let's go ahead and squish those 3 together. And squish those 3 together. Okay, so now it should look just like this, 3 and 3. Now, to turn it into the infinite coil, or the infinity coil, I back it out. So that way just those 3 are showing, or those 3 are left on my Allen key here. This is the hard part. Hopefully I can get this all on camera for you. And we'll stick that in there, and we'll bend it directly in half. Now, you'll have to do a little bit of finagling here to make sure everything goes perfect. So now we could stick both of these all the way in and line them up so they're perfect. All right, now here's the big thing. We need to have both of the wires facing in the same direction. So let's go ahead and twist this one, right? I want to make sure we're doing this correctly here. No, back this one off. There we go. Because we need 3 and 3. Now, it got a little wonky there. So I'll show you what you could do now. Since we still have these on here, take your needle nose and tighten this bad boy back up. Because these are going to be right next to each other. Good. Clamp that down a little bit. And we'll take this off and kind of show you what we're looking at here. And of course, this is always ugly, and we'll make it perfect once we install it. But this is how the coil should look, just like that. So now we have the little infinity sign. You can see how it coils like that, right? Almost like a, you can either call that the crazy eights too, whatever you want to call it. But that's the coil. So let's go ahead and cut off some of the excess here. Now, the way that this installs into your RDA, how this is built, you want it now to sit center in your RDA. So this side here will go into your negative, and then the one that sticks in through the middle of the two goes into your center post. So you can see that lines it up perfectly in the middle of your RDA, and that's how we want it to look, just like that. So what we'll do now is tighten this down. Now tighten the center, or not the center, the negative post first. So that way we can work the positive post and get it lined up. Get that nice and tight in there. And that's probably, not liking that too much. See, sometimes you got to watch out, because when you pull it tight, or you tighten down your screw, it pulls the whole entire thing. So let's back this out a little bit and reposition, because we want this in the center. There we go. Now I'll hold it just like that, and now I'll tighten it. If I could hold on to the screwdriver. Hey. There we go. That looks better. Now, word of advice. Instead of like you would on a normal build, since this is a center build and you have your coil right dead in the center, it's very hard to cut your positive lead. So let's do that now. And with this 24 gauge, you don't have to worry so much about it going anywhere. So now when we do the next coil, so now I can still push this in a little bit and still have a little bit of play there. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and build the second coil off camera, and we'll come back and install the two. Okay, here we go. There is our second coil here. Perfect. And now I'll show you how I do this part, because basically we're going to want it right there. So let's go ahead and cut our positive lead now. Be very careful when you make this cut. Maybe go a little bit longer than you're going to need it, but let's try that. That looks pretty good. What do you guys think? It's in there. And then we'll, of course, straighten this all up as we go along. Let's see. That right there. I'll go ahead and tighten down right here. Perfect. Okay. Now we'll adjust to get that how we want it. Kind of like it right there. And that looks good right there. So now we'll tighten down our positive. Make sure everything's nice and tight. Now I'll go ahead and cut off my negative leads here. All right, there is the rough draft of this dual infinite or infinity coil. I'm going to go ahead and throw this on the Nemesis. We'll pulse fire it, get it all perfect, and then we'll wick it. Okay, here we go. Let's go ahead and pulse it. Get it to fire here. And this is the one that's all wacky, so we'll fix this one first. Get your tweezers and try and correct it. Straighten it out. I can see it is fairly straight. We'll pulse it again. And compress the coils. We're making the contact coil, macro coil style. And you just fire, get it red hot, let off the button, and squeeze it down. Hold it for a quick second, and you do that enough, and it looks just like that. Is that not perfect? It is perfect. Okay, we can do the same thing on this side. Everything seems to be pretty uniform. Oh, it's a little too high. That's one thing when you make these verticals, you want them to be equal in height, coil size, and all that happy stuff. That looks pretty darn even. Fires uniform, both of them fire at the same time. And we're ready to wick. All right, so here is our finished dual infinite coil. Let's go ahead and check its resistance. 0.28. I would do this a couple times. 0.28 and 0.28. Perfect little coils. That's exactly what I had before, and I just replicated it. So now let's go ahead and get some cotton, and we'll put some wick in here. All right, here's our cotton. Let's go ahead and pull off some cotton here. Don't need all that. Let's go ahead and pull that off. Technically, we don't even need it this long. Let's cut that in half. So now we'll take a piece, twist it on one end, and insert that in, just like that. And get in there and pull the cotton through, just like that. And then basically repeat the same. So I'm going to go ahead and do that off camera here. I'll be back once it's fully wicked. Okay, so all the wicks in there. Time to give this a haircut. So now we'll cut off a little bit on each one of these little legs. Not too much though, because we still want to have some in the juice well. This holds a lot of juice once it's all wicked and ready to go here. Okay, so there's that, and now we got this little troll hair puff. Now for me, I just take it all the way down to the top of the Phillips screws. Just like so. Quick little haircut. So, just like so. And then we take those little legs that we have here, and I just put those right into the drip well. That looks pretty darn good, don't you think? Look at that. Side, that side. Oh, now we're at 0.3. It changes every once in a while. Let's see what happens. Let me tighten these down a little bit. There we go, 0.28. 0.28. Sometimes you got to retighten your screws here. So now I'm going to go ahead and go back into regular mode. We'll juice it up and give it a fire. Okay, welcome back to regular mode. This is the coil. Go ahead and throw some of this Vaptasia's Fantasia on here and give it a vape. And of course, like I say in my other videos, when you are building sub-ohm to this level, please make sure you use a 30 amp or better battery. Do not use a 10 amp battery. Try and go with the 30s. You have the Sony VTC 3, 4, 5s. You have your eFest, the purple 35s. LG came out with some. There are plenty of options for good 30 amp batteries. Keep yourself safe. Okay, now that I got that out of the way, I'm sure you guys all love hearing that little amount of preachiness. That's all I got to preach about. That's it. Just want you to be safe. So now we juiced it up. Give it its first fire. Kind of over juiced here, so you're not seeing too much. It's boiling off some of that excess. It's popping and sizzling. Look at that. Okay, I think it's ready. So now we'll line up our air holes. And with my Patriot, for me, I get this question a lot about airflow. I'll show you guys what I did here. If you look, I have 1/8 there, and I did a 1/16 there, and it kind of butchered it a little bit. But I like a lot of airflow, and I did the same thing on the other side. Airflow will produce more vapor and cool down your vape when you bring it down to these lower levels. Also, another quick tip, wide bore. I took this drip tip that I have, and it's got a big lip in there, drilled it all the way out. So now it's at a 1/4 inch. So that's good. We've got plenty of airflow going. I'll shut up and vape and show you how this thing's firing. As you can see, another successful build for this build of the week. The dual Infinite Coil or Infinity Coil, whichever you prefer to call it. It fires great. One second, let me take my margarita break. Makes it easier to build that way. So, yeah, there you go. That's build of week number 5. Dual Infinite build. You know, just like every other build, I'm not going to come at you and say this is the best build out there. There's so many different builds out there right now. This build works for me. I do like it a lot. It produces a lot of vapor. It's a pretty cool vape. It's not too hot for being as low as it is, but I also have the excess airflow. Flavor is great. I get a lot of the berry flavor coming off of this Fantasia from Vapetasia, which I'll be reviewing their juices sometime this week. But yeah, that is the dual Infinite build. I think it looks cool. That was probably the main reason why I wanted to do it. I like the look of it. I like the design of it. And it's like doing the center post vertical, but you have 4 separate coils. And instead of it being like a middle out, it goes from the top down, because the top of your coil is actually the middle of your coil, the way that it's built. So I hope you guys enjoyed this build. Go ahead and try it out. If you have any questions, let me know. I'm always available. Well, not always. I do like to sleep and do some things on the side, but I always try and answer any questions you guys might have. And you can always go to my Facebook group, the Cotton Collective, and ask questions in there as well. Lots of very informative vapors in there. Always willing to help anyone from new to advanced on any question you guys have. So again, thank you for watching. If you like these builds and you want to see more, I'm going to be doing a shit ton more of these build a weeks. I love doing them. I love to build, so why not build on camera and show you guys how to do it as well. So go ahead and please subscribe to my channel. I would be very appreciative if you would do that. You don't have to. If you think I'm a jackass and you don't want to watch my videos, that's fine too. But, if you do like them and you want to catch up and watch the rest of them, I got plenty of rebuilds going on and plenty more where they're coming from. All right, guys. So thanks again for watching me. And as always, vape on.